Hello, this is RevitUni.com, and in this tutorial I would like to share with you a method of importing terrain data from GIS sites into Revit. So we will have the exact representation of the maps that are provided publicly in sites like GIS, for example, Columbia County Planning Department. This video will be vastly based on the information that was shared by Andrew Fernandez in his video from 5 years ago, and I wouldn't be able to learn it myself without his help. So if you have the option, give him a credit by sharing a thumbs up also under his video. So but at the same time, I'm trying to concise the knowledge that he's sharing into shorter video, and I'm also trying to organize it for myself because I'm not site engineer, I'm not civil engineer, so maps and importing such information into Revit is relatively new to me. That's why I would like to also just record this video also for myself if I need it in the future. So the main source of information will be American GIS data. So if you are working in some other country and you need to import it from other area of the world, then probably you need to search for something similar in your country. However, first step is finding something called TNM download V2 national maps. I typed a phrase national viewer national map GOV. So I opened this site and I basically entered some address that I'm interested in. This is my address. I will copy it again and click search. This is totally random parcel that I chose for this video. So if the owner of this land is by any chance watching this video, it's totally coincidental. However, what we have on the left menu, it's datasets. This is how it looks like by default. So we can activate elevation products and click search. You see, this is the map in TIF format, and it shows from black to gray elevation changes. And this is the element that will be very useful to us when we import it into QGIS. This is pretty large file, it's over 400 megabytes. So maybe in the meantime I should mention that you should download a software called QGIS that is totally free. Okay. And it's very easy to download. With basically one click you can get this software. Once it's installed, you have multiple options to choose from, and the one we will be using is QGIS Desktop 3.34 or whatever version you just installed. Once the TIF file is downloaded, we can start a new project in QGIS. I selected project new. And now we would like to import this TIF. I do this by click on layer, add raster layer, and search for the file. I click add, and I can click close. Here is how it looks like. It has this gradient showing us elevations from the lowest up to the highest, from black to gray. And it would be a good idea to have some kind of context of the world map. We activate it by using a browser tab, and in here we have something that is called XYZ tiles, and we can double click and say OpenStreetMap. Make sure that the street map is at the bottom of this layer list. It will show our imported TIF on top of it. I right click on it, I say zoom to layer, and it turns out my layer landed somewhere in the middle of Atlantic Ocean. So let's try to re-import it. So I will remove this layer, click OK, and try to add a raster layer again. Sometimes that happens. I don't know why. What's the cause of that? But let's choose this file again. Click Add. I click Close, and it's again in the same spot. So sometimes it's better to actually restart the entire QGIS. If such error appears and I found no other solution but to restart QGIS sometime. I just started a new project, and this time maybe I will start with OpenStreetMap activation and then add a new layer, raster layer, and search for this file. I will click Add. Now it asks me about the transformation. I will accept the first one. Okay, and I already see that it's in the correct place. I encourage you to save this file using save as command at this stage. And now let's look into this map. We still need to find our parcel because this area is very huge. It's probably a couple hundreds of square kilometers or even more. So we need to figure out a way to locate our parcel. And remember that we can always change the order of layers by moving it up or down here and temporarily disabling its visibility. Let's go back to the internet browser, and I would like to use this time GIS Data Viewer. I simply typed Columbia Planning Department, GIS Viewer, and I was able to find this element. You can also type GIS Data Viewer, Columbia, or any other county you're working on. I clicked here, and here I'm being redirected to this map. Okay, so of course you can type an address here, which I already did. Okay, clicked search, found, and we have certain legend layers or information layers, but we also have something that is in here, right? And it's called additional data. So if I would like to add the contours on this project browser, for example, I would say add, right? And they will appear, right? If I want to see water streams, let's say, I would click add, and they should be, you see, visible on this map. So if we want to have those kind of information inside QGIS, I would say details. This is in Polish, but I hope you will also manage to understand everything. And in here at the bottom, we have something that it's called URL. So I will copy this link, go back to QGIS, and in the browser, right-click on ArcGIS and say New Connection. I will paste this URL and call it Streams. Click OK, and now you see it appears on my list, and I can double-click on it. And you see that this layer appeared. I will just move it so it's over this one, right? And we see all the streams information. I will remove it because it's not useful for me at this stage. I'm just showing it to you as an example. I can also edit this connection, and instead of limit myself to streams, I would just remove the last part of this URL, which will finish at the word services. So I will rename it ArcGIS Columbia. Okay, great. So you see now when I open it, I have the whole list of other maps that I can add to the project. And one of them is CCB2 T24, which are basically parcels. So I double click on it again, click OK, and my map should be slowly populated with all the parcels for the entire county. It can take a while, so I will give it a minute. Once everything is loaded, I will disable this TIFF layer so we see it more clearly. And I also can activate something that is called Satellite Hybrid Map. And I do it by using a plugin called Tile Plus. You need to install this plugin if you want to do the same thing, and you do it through plugins, manage install plugins, and you can choose install from zip, and there you should find the file that you downloaded from internet. So if you are looking for this plugin, just type Tile Plus somewhere in Google and search for zip file. Once you have it, it's very easy to use because I simply select a map. I will say satellite hybrid and click plus. So it's another layer in here. I will just push it a little bit down. And now let's start to look for the parcel. I will do it using my eyes. I bet there is some better way to do it, but I'm not an expert in QGIS, so it will take me more time to explore how to place a point at certain coordinates rather than just do it manually. Okay, I managed to find it. So once you locate your parcel, it's good to mark it somehow. And I will do it by drawing a rectangle. So what I will do is create a new shapefile layer and call it parcel. Sorry, I need to save it somewhere in folder. Okay. I will say geometry type is polygon, and click on this pencil, click add polygon, and start drawing a rectangle using option rectangle from extend. So I'm pressing my first point, and the second point I will accept with the right click mouse button. Right, so I'm clicking the opposite mouse buttons, then I click again on this pencil, click save, and I have now this parcel. And by double clicking on the symbol next to it, I can change its symbology. So I will change it to outline red so I see what's going on inside. Okay. Now you see I still have this entire large area with elevations. So I would like to crop it to my rectangle. And I do it by using processing toolbar, clip mask, clip raster mask by a layer. If you don't see this processing toolbox window, you need to go to view, panels, and activate processing toolbox. Okay, I double click on clip raster by mask layer. I select my US GS layer as input and mask layer as parcel. I click run and click close. So the clipped mask temporary layer was created. Temporary layer means that if the program would crash or something bad would happen, we will lose these masks, but let's hope it's not going to happen. We can always click on it and right click on it and say, I guess with this mask I can do it, but usually when I right click on it on this menu there will be an option to basically save this layer somewhere so it's not getting lost. Anyway, we will need this layer just for a minute, so I will not worry about it. I can now deactivate the big picture, and now we need to create contours out of this mask. So I look for contours and double click on it. It's under raster extraction contour. Now I select input layer as mask And important thing is to type 0.3048, which is equivalent of 1 feet, because the interval given by the American Association is by feet. So I click run, and click close, and you see I have all those nice contours already generated. I can disable visibility of this clipped mask, and I can try to save this layer. Oh, you see I have option to say make permanent. So I will locate it somewhere again in my folder, call it contours. Okay. I'm not sure whether it should be shapefile mask, maybe it should be actually shape format. Click OK. And now we need to generate vertices out of it, which is basically points. What extra step we can do also is to smooth the contour. So if you'd like to achieve some like smoother results, we can double click and say maybe 2 iterations, and you see those contours get like smoother, more like nice looking if you pay attention to such things. But of course it will also generate much more points in our project, so Revit might not handle it if we smooth it too much. And that's why I will remove this layer, and I will use the default contours to generate vertices. So I will type such phrase here and choose extract vertices from vector geometry. And it's a good idea to, instead of creating temporary layer, save it to file that it's called, let's say, points. And then click run. You see those points are nicely generated, so the only thing that we need to do right now is to export them to CSV file. I will do it by right-clicking on the export on the points layer and select export save features as. It will be format CSV. I will call it export parcel, and I will make sure that I will select elevation, include Z dimension and geometry as XY. The only tricky part is to select the correct coordinate system. The default one that is now selected will not work, so I was trying with many other coordinate systems, and I was doing it very randomly and constantly importing to Revit, checking if it's working. And it turns out I found the one that actually worked for me, which is called Nordfusse 36. So you can search for this name in this filter, add it to your reference system, and click OK. Now the only thing left to do is to click OK and wait for the points to be exported. Once exported, let's go to Revit and say import, create from the massing and site tab, right, create from import, and select CSV. I click OK and select meters. There is a warning that there is a sharing violation because some of the information is still stored in QGIS for the CSV file. That's why before importing I will just quickly Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V this element, so I get rid of this reference. I switch to meters, click OK. Okay, you see the model of terrain is created. I can always change some settings for the display of this element. You see this is pretty detailed, so once this file is saved it will be pretty large. So if we don't need such big accuracy for the model, we can of course make our parcel much smaller, so we don't need like the entire context of the whole parcel. Or we can say simplify topo solid, and let's say 80% points to keep, click OK, and it might make our model significantly smaller. Okay, so this is it for this tutorial. I hope you found it useful, so subscribe to my channel and leave the thumbs up for my video. So if you have any questions, leave the comment below. I will try to help you, but unfortunately I'm not QGIS expert, so if you have QGIS related questions, I might not be able to answer them. So thanks for watching and see you soon.